welcome to the stage, Brian O'Connor! Keep it going for Brian!
In 1985, I was 21 years old. I was in a relationship with a girl. We were going out together for 4 years, and one night she said to me, I want to go on a break. So, okay, on a break. So a few weeks later, seeing her outside the pub with her new boyfriend. So, I thought it was a break, but, you know. So it was a break-up. But anyway, I got depressed. I was only 21. Got worse. And that was January. I had just joined a football club. Didn't really know the guys. I just played football with them. That was it. Socialised a little bit with them. So one of them said to me, Declan Griffin, he said, we're going to a concert in London in July. Do you want to go? And I said, who's playing? And he said, Bob Geldof and all that Band-Aid thing. Shy, he said, when I go to them, they had a single out, do they know it's Christmas? Just the Christmas gone. I says, no, it reminds me of how much shit going on in my life. So his mate Charlie said to me a few days later, he says, you know, I know you're a big Beatles fan. And my idol was John Lennon. And so he just said, you know, the Beatles are getting back together for this concert. I said, the three remaining Beatles? He goes, yeah. Just John Lennon had been shot a few years before. So I said, right, I'll go. He says, for charity as well. I said, fuck charity. I said, go. So I'm going to see the Beatles at Live Aid. So the tickets were £125, £25 for the ticket, and £100 for your boat, your bus, and your hotel for the night in Piccadilly Circus. So I rang a friend of mine who lived in London, Steve-O, he was on the run. So I rang him from a telephone box. You can only ring. There was no internet, no mobile phones, there's no sat-nav, nothing, no emails. So I rang him and I said, look, we're going to London for the weekend. I'll see you Saturday morning. We'll be there Saturday morning. He says, right, okay. So met the lads at the boat, two lads, Declan and Charlie. I brought my mate, Hanno, he was there. He had a ticket as well. So Declan and Charlie had this fellow with them, Huggy, right? Who's actually here tonight. So I says, you going to the concert? He says, no. He says, I'm going to London to live. He says, right. You got a job? No. You got somewhere to stay? No. You got any money? No. He had no luggage or anything. He had this money belt hanging out of him. And no money in it. So we're on the boat, few drinks. Everyone on the boat was going to Live Aid, so we all had something in common. And we all were saying, who do you think it's going to be? You know, and I said, well, the Beatles are playing. They were all looking at me. Fucking Beatles? I said, yeah, he told me the Beatles were playing. The three remaining Beatles. Fuck that, I'm not going to see any of them other ticks. So we got there anyway. We were on the boat, started drinking, got to Holyhead, drinking on the coach all the way. We got into London at 7 o'clock in the morning. Well on. Didn't sleep all night. My mate Steve-O was there. Magic, you know, no mobile phones. He was just there. So Declan and Charlie were staying in a different hotel. So they had to go to another hotel. So when they went to the hotel, they were gone because there's no communication anymore. Because you couldn't say, I'm in this pub here, meet me there. They were gone. So we didn't see them till we got back to the boat. You know, they were gone for the weekend. So the four of us then, me, Huggy, Hannah and Steve-O, went on a pub crawl. He says, look, I know the way to Wembley. We'll pub crawl all the way. So 6 hours later, it was about 5 or 6 hours later, we got about 2 o'clock in the day, and we got there, and we'd no drink. And then in those days, they'd no drink at concerts. So we went into this off licence at Wembley, and he was empty. He said, sold out. He said, I've got these 2 bottles of Malibu. He said, give us them. So we got them. And then when we got to Wembley, we had to say good luck to Huggy and Steve because they didn't have tickets. So me and Hanno had tickets, so went up. We were searching everyone, we're not letting any drink in. So we grabbed the neck of the bottle, put it into our jackets. He got in, lifted the jackets up real high. He searched everywhere. Searched the jacket and all. And then we got in. So, right. But then it was Malibu, it was fucking horrible. So then we got in. Concert was already on. Place was full. So we have a way of getting up to the front in concerts. Right? So, shouldn't be giving this away, but... So Hanno bends down like he can't see his head, he's doubled over. And I just go, first aid, first aid, first aid. So everyone just parts, because they think there's something wrong. And by the time he goes by, they say, he must be sick. So we got right up to the front. And your man says, first aid is there, he's better now, fuck that. So, U2 came on, David Bowie, Dire Straits, Sting, brilliant. We were there for about 4 hours. We got tired then, you know, and the concert was still going on. So when is this fucking thing over? So a lot of people were there. Like they all had itineraries and all that. He said, oh yeah, only Paul McCartney's coming on. No, the fucking Beatles are coming on. Tell you now, right? So. We went down the back. We got tired, went down the back for a rest. So we knew we'd get back up the front during the old trick. So we got down the back, and then Queen came on. And as everyone knows from the film Bohemian Rhapsody, it was voted the best set ever in music history. And 1 billion people watched it, and everyone in Wembley watched it, except me. I was face down on the ground, drunk. And for 20 years I told people, yeah, I was seeing Queen, they were great, but I never seen Queen. So, my mate woke me up, let's go back up the front to see the Beatles, right? Fucking, first aid, all the way back up. And I had a camera with me, so I was taking pictures and all. And we got back up, Paul McCartney came out, fair enough. 1 hour 3, whatever, you know, it's great. So then, my mate Steve had given me a note. The Thomas a Becker pub, the old Kent Road. So we went back to his pub afterwards, and it was a gangster's pub. And there was a boxing gym. You can look it up on YouTube now or whatever. There's a boxing gym above it. And Steve was there with his family, and he says, keep it down. He says, it's anti-Irish. No? And there's all these pub games. And one of the pub games was, you take your sock off, put it over a point. 5 points, take the sock off. 5 individual socks, put them over the point, mix the points around. Hanno got up, down the point, first, won 5 points. So, Huggy was there with his money belt hanging out, and they're all looking at him going, here's the Irish bloke with the money belt, we're going to bleed and rob him. So, we had to get out of that pub, so we got out, really tired, went to a taxi rank. Half an hour later, police were picking us up. We had fallen asleep, we were so tired, we hadn't slept. So your man says, I couldn't wake you. I had to call the police. So they're putting us in the car. Me and Huggy just bolted. And because we were young, we were able to run away as quick as we could. But they caught Hanno, put him into the car. And they got suspicious then with the Irish accents and took him. We found out all this years later through the internet. Carter Street Police Station is a fortified police station for IRA terrorists, right? They took Hanno to Carter Street Police Station, interrogated him all night, found his Live Aid fucking ticket, and went, all right, let him go. I made it back to the hotel. Huggy says, can I have your friend's spot in the hotel? There's nowhere to go. I said, no, you're not going, I don't know you. I only know you through Deco and Charlie. So, got back there, and your man says, right, good, it's 3 a.m, fair enough. He says, you're booked in here. He says, you have to be out by 10. So he says, we have this new system where you swipe the card, like a credit card. I said, what's a credit card, you know? He says, you swipe it and the door goes green and you open the door. So he gave me on swiped it, went in, a naked man and woman lying on the bed. Right? And your man got up, chased me down the fucking corridor. I got down to the reception and I said, look, I've had a fucking long day, right? You give fucking right room or I'll fucking kill you. And you'll kill me, I'll fucking kill you. Right? So he brought me up, swiped, looked in. And on the way home on the boat, we met Harley, the two boys, and it was so good. And everyone on the boat had this shared experience. And it's only when we got home we realised everyone in Ireland watched it. And everyone in the world watched it. We didn't know because there's no communication, there's no phones or anything. And we all met up in the sub that night. And everyone in the pub was looking at us going, these guys were at it. And we looked at each other and we solidified our friendship. And we're all still friends today. Right? And Hoogie's here. Sadly, Deco is not here. Sadly, he's not here. No, he went to the Rovers match. Right? And Steve-O was still on the run. And then, oh yeah, the best thing that happened to me out of that was not seeing Paul McCartney, but it lifted me up out of the depression. You know? And a few months later, I met Deborah and she's still putting up with me now, so thanks. And thanks to Niamh for telling me about Story Slam.